She thought she was saving her family, but she walked right into the lion's den. He wanted revenge, not a wife. But fate has a wicked sense of humor. Scarlett Hayes had never imagined her father's downfall would come so fast, or that she'd be the bargaining chip to save him. One day she was sipping overpriced matcha and dodging paparazzi as a socialite, and the next she was being offered like a sacrificial lamb to the coldest man in Manhattan. "You're marrying Damon Blackwood," her father said, not even able to look her in the eyes. Scarlett blinked. Laughed. "You're joking, right? He's twice my age. He's your enemy. He sued you. He's evil." Her father's silence was answer enough. Damon Blackwood, 42, CEO of Blackwood International, infamous for hostile takeovers and an even more hostile personality. Gray eyes like winter storms. A jawline so sharp it could cut glass. Rumor said he hadn't smiled since the Clinton administration. And now she had to marry him. Scarlett stood, knocking over her untouched latte. "No. Absolutely not. I'd rather marry a cactus." "You'd rather see me go to prison?" her father said quietly. "Scarlett, please." The wedding was small, elegant, and colder than the groom's eyes. Scarlett wore a couture gown worth more than some country's GDP, but it felt like shackles made of silk. Damon stood beside her, tall and unreadable, barely glancing her way as he signed the marriage license. To him, this wasn't a wedding. It was a contract. "You may kiss the bride," the officiant said. Damon leaned in, his lips barely inches from hers, and whispered, "Let's not pretend this is anything more than paperwork." Scarlett smiled with venomous grace, placing a sweet kiss on his cheek, just enough for the flashing cameras, yet distant enough to prove a point. That night, his penthouse was quiet as she strolled in wearing sweatpants and a green clay face mask. He looked up from his laptop. "You're not sleeping in my room." "Trust me," she said, flopping onto the velvet couch, "I'd rather cuddle a porcupine." He smirked, barely. "Good." The air between them remained frosty, but neither could deny the spark buried beneath the chill. The next few weeks were a minefield of awkward breakfasts, tense elevator rides, and photo shoots that painted them as America's new royal couple. In public, they smiled. In private, it was sarcasm and warfare. "Can you not leave your $10,000 shoes in the hallway? Can you not breathe like you're auditioning for Darth Vader?" But the tension wasn't just hostile. It simmered with something else. Scarlett began noticing things. The way Damon's shirt sleeves rolled up, exposing forearms sculpted like marble. The low, gravelly tone of his voice during late-night investor calls. How he always smelled faintly of expensive cologne and danger. Once, she caught him looking at her over his coffee mug, intently, quietly. Not with irritation. With interest. They didn't speak of it. But it hovered in the air like electricity waiting for a spark. One evening, she passed him in the hallway, wearing his oversized hoodie without realizing it. He said nothing. But the look he gave her, smoldering, confused, almost protective, lingered long after they parted ways. This wasn't love. Not yet. But hate was definitely losing ground. It started with a bottle of wine and nowhere else to be. Scarlett had been bored, lounging barefoot in the kitchen. Damon had just finished a tense Zoom call with Tokyo and looked like he needed a drink, or three. "Truth or dare," she said, twirling the wine glass in her hand. He gave her a look like she'd lost her mind. "Are you 12? "Dare it is," she grinned. "I dare you to cook me something without calling in the entire Blackwood culinary army." 20 minutes later, the kitchen was full of smoke. Damon stood over a frying pan like it had personally betrayed him. "You were aiming for grilled cheese, right? Apparently, I'm better at corporate takedowns than sandwiches." Scarlett laughed so hard she fell off the stool, clutching her sides. Damon watched her with an expression she hadn't seen before. Not annoyance. Not boredom. Something closer to awe. You laugh like you don't care what anyone thinks, he said. That's because I don't. Especially not my grumpy husband. He didn't smile, but his eyes warmed, just a little. In that moment, the billionaire looked less like a storm and more like a man caught in the middle of one. A month in, something shifted. Not all at once, more like a quiet erosion. It started small. Damon brought her coffee, black with a shot of vanilla. She didn't thank him, just raised a brow. He walked away like it meant nothing. But it didn't feel like nothing. Scarlett started sending him memes. At first, he ignored them. But one night, she spotted the corner of his mouth twitch at a cat photo wearing a suit, when your arranged marriage turns into a corporate hostage situation. They still bickered. Do you arrange your closet by color or by level of arrogance? She asked one morning. Do you plan your insults ahead of time or just wing it with caffeine? It was banter now. Flirty, almost. Then she caught him on the couch, reading the romance novel she'd left on the table. Didn't peg you as a romance guy, she said, arms crossed. He didn't look up. Didn't peg you as someone who finishes a book. They both smirked. This new rhythm, they hadn't asked for it, but it felt dangerous. Real. Like the foundation of their icy arrangement was starting to melt. And neither of them seemed ready to stop it. But just as things softened, the storm returned. It happened at a charity gala. Scarlett had just stepped into the powder room to fix her lipstick when a woman, tall, elegant, unfamiliar, appeared beside her, like a ghost in diamonds. He's using you, you know, the woman said, eyes cool in the mirror. You're just part of his revenge. Scarlett stiffened. Excuse me? The woman applied her lipstick slowly. Ask him what happened to your father's old company. Ask him why he really married you. Then she walked out, leaving the scent of expensive perfume and doubt behind. That night, back in the penthouse, Scarlett stood by the floor-to-ceiling windows as the city blinked below. Why did you really marry me? She asked without turning. Damon looked up from his drink, expression unreadable. Scarlett. Was it revenge? A power move? A final nail in my family's coffin? His silence spoke louder than any denial. You think I'd hurt you? He asked finally, voice low. She turned, eyes glassy. I don't know what to think anymore. The space between them was a battlefield now. Charged. Silent. She walked away, heels echoing down the hall. And this time, he didn't stop her. He just watched her go. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe.